Hi crafters, Karen here from Karen's Crafting Company, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you the cards that I made using the Falling Leaves 6x6 paper pad by DCWV. And I had put this in a video a couple of weeks ago sharing with you what paper pads I would be using in the next month or two, and I decided to use this paper pad to take part in Kendra's card challenge, and she is on card challenge number 7. And you know, if you're really into paper crafting and card making, I'm sure that you have seen a lot of videos from other crafty YouTubers who have been taking part in this challenge, and they have shared some of the cards that they have made with this challenge. And that is what I'm going to share with you today in this video. And if you're not familiar with this challenge, I will have the information linked in the description box below. And again, this is the pad that I chose to use, and I picked out 6 papers as called for the challenge. So I really didn't get into the pad as much as I had hoped. I mean, I knew that I had to use just 6 sheets, but at least I got a head start into using this pad. And so what I'll do is I will go ahead and share with you the cards that I made, and I might have modified some of the sketches slightly, but for the most part I did follow them. And here I brought in some scraps that I had left over, and I'm going to show you what I did with these scraps in this video. And these circles are things that I have had in my stash forever, and it's great because they match the papers perfectly. And I'm going to show you how I used one of these small circles with inside my card as part of using up the scraps. And as part of the challenge, when you go through the different sketches to cut up the different pieces that you need, there were a couple of pieces that were considered optional. And so you had the option to add those to the cards, or you could just, you know, trash them if you didn't want to have them left over. You know, they were small scraps. And I will show you what I did with my pieces that I had left over in conjunction with the small pile of scraps that I showed you just a minute ago. So we start with sketch number 1, and again, this sketch, now these are some scraps, but these are not any of the optional pieces that were left from any of the other the guides that I used to cut. This was one of the branding strips that I had, and again I am bringing in that small circle to attach to those strips. And I brought in one of my little acorn stamps to put on that circle to, you know, add some extra detail to the inside of the card. And as I showed you in the paper pad, there were some tags in there, which were great because I was able to use quite a few of them. And that tag on the right took care of my sentiment, which was why I did not add that piece to the bottom. So here I am just showing you how I am adding these pieces to the inside. And what I've discovered was that the strip was longer than what the card base was, so that means I had to trim some pieces down. And so I had brought in those circles, but I decided not to use them all because as I was trimming, I was coming up with more scraps. And the idea here was to use up the scraps, not accumulate more. So I, went ahead and I brought in my adhesive from the scrapbook.com, and I, went ahead and put in the branding strips and added some glue to the small circle, and there's a little piece that is showing, and all I did was trim that down so it was not exposed. And then that's what it looks like on the inside. Just a cute addition. And that was card number 1. And now for card number 2. Here again, I pretty much followed the sketch, and instead of using a circle, I went ahead and I brought in one of my baskets as my embellishments. And that strip there that I'm showing you, that actually called for a piece of cardstock, but I didn't add that. I used the 4 by 5 1/4 mat that I put there, and I just stamped right on there. And what I loved about this paper pad was I was able to go into my autumn embellishments that I have had for a while, and I have a bunch of leaves and some baskets, and you'll see the variety of leaves that I have, and you'll see them throughout this video on different cards. And I was super excited that I was able to bring those in and use quite a bit of them up. I just thought that basket was super cute to add as an embellishment. And moving on to card number 3. This I followed exactly, definitely as you see in the sample there. I brought in the fishtail banner. I used my Stampin' Up! Sentiments for the fall, and then added those 3 different size strips to the front. Card number 4 is again pretty close to this sketch. The only thing I did different is I just added one of my leaves as a piece of embellishment to add to the circle. And again, using up that sentiment stamp, it was perfect since the papers are fall and everything just gelled so well together. Moving on to card number 5. Now you see there is an extra piece, and that was an optional piece, and I will show you here what I do with that small piece of scrap. And because it's double-sided, you can use whichever side you would like, and I went with this side here because on the front of the card I have that strip with the leaves already on there, so I was just adding a little more variety to the inside. And for card number 6, here, this is pretty much a replica of the sketch, and all I did was I added that tag to the center, again trying to use up those tags. And that cardstock I brought in, and I was able to use my leaf embossing folder, which was really cool. I'm glad that I was able to bring out my fall supplies and really dive in and use them with this challenge. We're going to move on to card number 7. And again, that star, it tells you that you can use any shape embellishment that you want. And there is again one of those leaves that I brought in. So you can see that there are different shapes, different styles of the leaves. And again, I had some cut out from previous projects, and that is actually the seasonal foliage die set from Cuttlebug, also known as Cricket, but that is retired and it's no longer available. Card sketch number 8. I brought in for my embellishment, I brought in those cute acorns that you see on the left hand side, and I added that tag for my sentiment in the center. And looking at more of these scraps, I'm just trimming these up, and these branding strips are perfect to utilize on inside of the cards. You can cut them into different shapes of strips. You can cut them into fishtail banners. There's definitely a variety of ways that you can use them to use up your scraps. And for sketch number 9, again, there's that pretty leaf, and again, using my fall sentiment stamp, and again, just adding more scraps to the inside. Just adds a little extra to the inside when they open the card and read their message or stamped sentiment. Card number 10 is, I really like this, how this turned out. I had this basket in my stash forever, and I decided to use that as my circle, and then I had a bunch of those leaves, and then for the small circle I just had put the leaf down there on the bottom to make it look like it was falling out of the basket, and I just thought that was a nice cute touch to the card. Here I was thinking about adding another strip to that bottom, and I just decided, no, I just like that one by itself, so I left it as is. Moving on to sketch number 11. The only thing that I added was my tag to the center, and I liked these tags because I was able to use up some of my eyelets that I had, and it just matched perfectly with this whole set that I used for these cards. And this Happy Fall sentiment is from a close to my heart fall stamp set that I have in my collection. Here I decided to go ahead and make a fishtail banner, and I'll add that to the top of the inside of the card. And then I'll just add another layer to it. Just really cute addition to the inside. And card number 12. And again, for the circle, I replaced that with one of my leaves. And the sentiment is actually a sticker from a very old fall kit that I had from Creative Memories, and that is no longer available. I've had that for many, many years, and I have some of the stickers left over, and I was able to dive into that and use up some of those stickers, and you'll see more in the next few cards. And that fishtail banner was a leftover piece from one of the banners that I cut in one of the cards from earlier. And there's an extra piece. This is for card sketch number 13. show you what I do with that. And this one I pretty much followed, and I just added a couple of more details to it. Again, trying to use up those tags, brought in that eyelet there, and I had more of those leaves, and I just brought those in to the back of that tag. And another fishtail banner that I will make here and add to the inside. And you can put that anywhere you want. You can put it on the right, you can put it on the left, you can put it on the bottom, and turn it 180 so that the bottom of that fishtail is pointing up. It's really up to you. And for sketch number 14, this was pretty much a replica of the sketch. Again, I just added some of those leaves to the back of the circle embellishment there. And again, I brought in one of my stickers from my Creative Memories fall kit. It was great to be able to use some of these up. And those brads, or those eyelets, excuse me, for those 3 circles that you saw on the front of the card. I like the double layers. And then last but certainly not least, sketch number 15. This is pretty much identical, and then it tells you that you can decorate that whole open space however you want. So again, I brought in one of my leaves that I had in my stash, and I actually ink blended that and just again had it from a previous project and just had it left over. And that strip there, I was kind of bummed that I didn't have that strip go all the way across the top of the card there. You can see some of that space was left open, but it's okay because it's not Hallmark, it's handmade, right? So it's totally functional and it works, and it's really okay. It could just look like that's how it was supposed to be designed. Bringing in more of those scraps and trying to use those up, adding those strips. And I really wanted that plaid, but I needed to change the direction of the angle on that cut. And there you have it. So here I went back and I pulled out some of the cards because I still had some scraps, and I went back to card number 3. And I'm just adding these last couple of pieces that I have left. And I realized that as I was trying to adhere these to the inside, that I put the adhesive on the wrong side of that fishtail banner. And so all I did is I just moved it to the other side. And again, you can decorate it however you want on the inside. So even though I wanted that green side to show, it still worked out in the end. All right, friends, this wraps up another video, and I hope that this has inspired you to bring out your autumn supplies and to also maybe give the challenge a try. I was super excited to be able to use the Falling Leaves paper pad along with all the fall supplies that I had in my stash. All those leaves for embellishments, the stickers, the stamp sentiments. It was a lot of fun to incorporate that with this paper pad. If you like this video, I would ask you to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click that bell for notifications. And stay tuned to the end and you will see a close-up of all 15 cards that I made using the sketches. And until my next video, I hope that your day is a crafty one. Thanks everyone, and we will see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.